Now let's talk about the triggers that cause data to flow through a binding in a two-way data binding scenario. By default, the modified values in a binding control only get pushed down to the source object when you tab out of the field, or really a focus change. So things like minimize, maximize, and switching to another window would also do it. Sometimes, however, you want to get the value sooner than that. You want it keystroke by keystroke in a text box, for example, or you want it as a slider bar is being slid. To do that, you can use a property on the binding called update source trigger. The default value is called default, and it basically means lost focus for most controls. There's also a value called lost focus, and then there's the property change value. Property change says whenever the target property changes, such as text on a text box, which will happen with every keystroke, or the position on a slider, then you want to push that current value down into the source object. Lost focus is going to wait until the focus leaves the control. Basically, default and lost focus mean the same thing for most controls. The one place they're different is in a data grid. Default means when the row itself that the editable control is in loses focus, whereas lost focus means the cell lost focus. So basically, if you set it to lost focus, as soon as you tab out of the cell, the value will be written to the source object. If you leave it on the default, then you're going to have to actually click on a separate row or tab out of the row before the values of all the edited cells will be written to the source object. And of course, even in the data grid scenario, property change means keystroke by keystroke in a text edit field, for example. So let's take a look at using update source trigger in a demo.